Hello,
I'm Karena.
and I'm Jamie. Welcome to As Told by ADHD. This podcast is a brainchild of two best friends with ADHD who share a passion for learning and a knack for finding the most fascinating tidbits of knowledge.
Each week we embark on a wild and hilarious journey of discovery as we dive headfirst into topics that pique our curiosity, from dark folklore to bizarre statistics, cultural ceremonies to famous dead people. We're here to entertain, educate, and tickle your funny bone.
This week on As Told by ADHD, we're talking about mythical creatures.
Mythical.
Creatures. Okay. So, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads? Did you say heads?
Yeah.
Okay. You're first.
I go first. It's me.
It's you.
Okay, so in past podcasts I talked about my my genetic background. Do you recall this conversation?
Do I recall any conversations?
No, but it was worth a try. But
Listen,
we got
I
off
know
on a
your genetic-
tangent.
I know your genetic background. However, I don't remember having a conversation about it.
Yeah, we were talking about I really don't know. We just got into a tangent like we normally do. And we went down a deep rabbit hole to where I pulled up my whole ancestry DNA chart and started going through all of that.
When did that happen?
I think it was in the podcast where we were talking about animals and places they shouldn't.
Really? Oh, wait, hold on.
I think it was
it
that
when we were talking about your mom? The bizarre statistics. I think that's when we were doing it.
Oh, bizarre. It was in one of the podcasts. It was in one of them. Well, we were trying to, I don't know. In one of the podcasts, we went off on a heavy tangent of or I did. I
think
went
we
on a
both
heavy
did.
tangent of like my genetic makeup, and I was just like, I am hella Scottish. Found out hella freaking Scottish. Blah blah blah. Next topic was mythical creatures, and I was like, let's go to Scotland.
What accent was that?
I have no cultural knowledge of Scotland, even though I'm hella Scottish.
I want to try. Scotland.
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 Welcome to Scotland.
But yeah, Scotland.
Yeah,
Ew.
Scotland.
How you doing?
Hello, Scotland. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so happy to be here. So I decided to dive into none other than the biggest mythical creature, urban legend-ish type history, because it is very historical at this point. The Loch Ness Monster.
Ooh.
Oh, Nessie. Oh, Nessie.
Hi,
girl.
Nessie.
How you doing?
It's been a while.
I know. We missed you. We're talking about you again so that you can remain in history for the rest of your existence, if you're real or not. So the Loch Ness Monster. Where is it located? None other than the Scottish Loch. Okay? In the Highlands of Scotland. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure where in Scotland the Highlands are, but that's my fault because I don't know. There's way too many rabbit holes.
Did you
way too many
look
stories.
at a map?
I didn't look at a map.
Why didn't you look at a map? That would be the first thing that I do. Can I pull up a map? I want to look at a map.
Yeah, do it. Go for it. So this is the thing. I not only have ADHD, I also was diagnosed with dyslexia.
Same. Oh my god.
This past
Twinsies.
year. I know.
Really?
This past year. Yeah. So when I was like heavy into my sessions with my therapist, like in the beginning.
Wait, your therapist can diagnose that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had to be diagnosed in
Yeah.
2nd grade by a bunch of professionals who came in and were like, read this for me. And I was like, I don't want to. And they were like, no, you have to. And then they were holding up cards and they were like, yeah, she has ADHD. I mean, not ADHD.
Yeah, it
but-
took a couple sessions doing a lot of different things, but yes, we came to the conclusion that I do in fact have dyslexia, and I already knew it, but it's now on paper or whatever, so it's official.
Okay, side note, before
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
get into that part, do you know the name specifically Loch something? Because there's a bunch of Loch Scotland, but it's like Loch Tola, Loch friend tree. That's not how you say
It's
that.
like a UIL, like back
Ex-
something
Excuse
like
you? Bless you. Gesundheit. Wait, is it O or U?
I think it's a U.
Can you spell it for
But
me?
just look up the Loch Ness monster and it'll tell you where it is.
Oh, Loch Ness is a place.
Loch Ness?
Yeah.
It's just Ness.
Yes.
See, we love learning things, but it doesn't mean that we do absolutely hella extensive research
Only if my ADHD allows me to.
before. True, very true. Because I was just like, let's get to the stories where people have seen this creature, like what document, like the documentation of how far back this goes is probably the peak of my interest. Like that's where a lot of my interest in this topic came from. So
I just don't know where this lake is.
it's a massive.
Okay, I'm
freshwater
gonna stop
lake.
researching your thing.
You're going through rabbit holes. It is very fun. The Loch Ness monster is very, very, very fun. So yes, I decided to dive headfirst into a lot of aspects of the Loch Ness. Obviously, not as many details as some of you would like to hear, but I dove into a good bit because it's very fun. So just kind of the Loch Ness monster, when you think of the Loch Ness monster, if you've heard of it, they usually compare it to a prehistoric dinosaur, like a prehistoric reptilian type underwater dinosaur.
When I think of the Loch Ness monster, for some reason it makes me think of Littlefoot. What is that? Land
A
Before Time?
brachiosaurus.
No.
I think he's a brachiosaurus or a
Maybe.
what's the other tall one?
I don't know why it makes me think of specifically the movies, but it does.
Because that creature was in the movie.
It was?
Yeah.
There's like
the
50
creature
movies.
the aquatic creature that they compare it to essentially is yes.
Is yes.
But that's the thing. They don't actually say that specific dinosaur's name that I think of when I think of the Loch Ness, because everybody has a million different theories. Like there is, I believe, 14,000, or no, not 14,000, 1,400, that dyslexia though, 1,400 years worth of documentation on this creature.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Okay, so the earliest documentation of this creature is all the way back in 565 AD. A long freaking time ago. In the story of Saint Columba, it was a Scottish monk, I believe, who was walking along the lay-by, which I believe that's just kind of like the edge of the water. It's like a hill, essentially, but it's like the edge of the water. He was walking along the loch, and it's called the lay-by, and he came upon a man's funeral. He heard the story of what supposedly happened to this man, and apparently he dove into wanting to know more and started becoming obsessed with the loch until he believes he saw it.
I mean, you can believe anything if you try hard enough.
I know. So in the story of Saint Columba, he talks about the story that he heard upon coming to this or stumbling upon this funeral that was happening by the lay-by. Very interesting stuff. But
What is a lay-by?
565 AD. A lay-by, it's the edge of the water. So how it goes down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like the lay-by because, yeah, I don't know. It's a Scottish term. But a lay-by is the edge of the water where there's a slope going down to the water. Super cool stuff. And just to kind of give context behind like the size of the creature, it's, I believe, one of the largest, if not the largest, body of water in Scotland, other than like the ocean, obviously.
Ooh.
And to give that some context, the volume is, or the area is 13,937 acres. So that's how big it is. 13,937 acres is the size of the loch.
Do we know how deep the water is there?
How deep? Let's see. The deepest point is 230 meter, which translate to about 755 feet. Okay. So that's fairly deep. Like, not
okay, but hear me out.
Here, okay.
Today's technology would be able to like scrape that lake.
Yes.
Wouldn't we have found it by now?
Well, that's the thing. It's a mythical creature, so they think that it's magical. Yeah, that it can come and go as it pleases, or it comes only during seasons, or it even comes to bring specific death. Well,
okay, so you're telling me that this Loch Ness monster dragon tails itself to and from
the loch
and the dragon tails land?
Yeah, essentially.
So do you think it does
your wishes come true?
Do you think it's like has its scale and does the thing every time? I don't even remember what it was.
Dragon tails.
Dragon tail.
Come along, take my hand. Oh my gosh.
Go to Dragon
And so just to give that some the size of the lake in acres, just to compare it to some of the big old lakes we have here in America. Good old America.
Gross.
We have a couple big ones. Like Michigan is 45,300 miles. That translates to roughly 640 acres. Lake Michigan. This is one of the biggest lakes, like, in the U.S. One of them.
I've never even seen Lake Michigan before.
I mean, me either.
I should go look.
Yes. So the Loch Ness, it's a really, really freaking big body of water. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be able to hold like a prehistoric dinosaur-sized aquatic animal, with the descriptions that we've gotten from the 1,400 years worth of this mythical creature being around. So, in St. Columba, he documented this initially. We have so many different stories and sightings with people saying that there was this creature that came up and ate my friend, and I couldn't help him, and his remains are still unknown to this day, when the guy could have just drowned, or the guy killed him for land.
That's what I'm saying. Because, like, listen, how convenient would it be for you to be minding your own business one day and you're like, ooh, I want that land. And you're like, but this guy owns it. How do I get rid of this guy? And then you go murder him in the lake and you're like, I don't know. Some random monster came in. Totally. Wow. It was really big and like, it looked like a dinosaur kind of. I don't even know what a dinosaur is, but like it looked like one. And
it ate him and dragged him underwater, and we'll
gone forever.
Never see him again.
That's crazy. Exactly. But who's gonna get this land though?
Who's gonna get this land? And now, since he was like firsthand witness, quote unquote, of the Loch Ness monster, people are literally gonna be paying him for his story for the rest of his life. So this guy became a very rich man by probably killing his friend.
Fair enough.
So the sightings are wild. It's either the beast tried to try to kill him, or they were just walking, minding their own business, and then boom, they see this massive creature just spinning and playing on top of the water.
Okay, but also, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
What if shrooms were a factor?
I mean,
it's genuinely believe?
Technically marshy. It is marshy. There could be hella shrooms over there.
Yeah, I don't know the fungi that live there, but I'm just saying, like, what if they genuinely believed, like, oh my god, look at this monster, and they were having like mass hallucinations, and then all of a sudden one of them like goes after the monster that they're seeing, and like drowns.
I mean,
but
that's
then he's
what
like,
I'm
oh,
saying.
but this line though.
Like, everybody, I think the fact that they were just like, hey, you know, I can be set for life, or I can be the life of the party in this town. They would spend literally so much time in the sun, like probably food deprived, water deprived. They're probably hella hallucinating and seeing God knows what, like a fish playing on top of the water, just flapping around. Maybe it caught a bug or something. They're just like, there's the Loch Ness monster. You know?
Can you,
I know.
Australian? How did an
Australian.
Aussie get there?
I mean, everybody would come to try to get evidence of this creature from all over. I mean, like I said, as soon as the rumors start going, everybody wanted to try to find this Loch Ness monster. Fishermen. Oh my gosh, the fishermen went nuts. They're just like, how much I could get paid, how much my family would be better off if I could find this monster for myself. Yes, with nets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there were stories about the Loch Ness monster. I had it, and it just ripped through my net and destroyed everything. Like, the stories are insane. And would they have a ripped up net? Yes, but it could have been a tree.
Listen,
like
that can only listen. I cannot imagine any of those fishermen being women.
I mean, facts. More than likely because they weren't allowed to.
But also, like, the fabrication, but also, like, the hubris of, like, being like, oh, I could totally catch this giant monster in my net. I could totally do it.
Right. And then, after time, all these fishermen and people were trying to just lug their boats into this water to try to find it. People just chilling on a lay-by and trying to find this creature. Around 1933, they built a road that was along the Loch Ness shore. It just,
it's not even 100 years ago.
Exactly. It's a pretty view. I know. That was crazy to me how it went without having like I mean, I'm sure it had a trail from how many people were like going to it. Mm-hmm. But just building a road in 1933, that's crazy to me. But it just gave them a clear view of the loch, they said. But the viewings just kind of skyrocketed from there. Just people driving on their way, minding their own business, and then boom, there's this massive creature with like a super long neck, or this massive creature with a huge head that just came bursting out of the water. His jaws were like 10 feet long, you know. And majority of them do believe that it's some sort of like serpent creature. That's what they're sticking on. They're sticking on it being some sort of serpent creature. And then, you know, when we could travel a little bit easier, we have all of the scientists. Like, we already had scientists in the country that would come see and try to investigate, but then you got scientists coming from all over the place trying to find it, trying to use gadgets that would quote unquote just get destroyed. I blame it on the engineering. But or they would like have bait and it would destroy their lines, and something would rip it out of the ground. Like crazy stuff, you know. And it became, obviously, after this road was built, it became a major media phenomenon. London went nuts over this. They were sending correspondence to Scotland, and there was a circus offering. I forgot about that. There was a circus offering for offering a 20,000 pound reward for the capture of the beast. So people went more crazy trying to catch this creature just to get, cheap change, essentially, because that, granted, that's like $100,000 like nowadays. So that would motivate a lot of people. Yeah, but still, and to the circus, no less.
Right. I'm glad they never caught, like, if this Loch Ness monster is real, I'm glad they never caught it, because, like, listen, that's horrible. I would hate to be an animal in a circus. I feel like that's the worst place to be an animal.
Yeah. And with this offering being out and people just being there 24/7, nobody saw anything. And then this couple came out of nowhere and it's just like, we saw him or her, because they refer to the Loch Ness monster being a female reptile. They call her Nessie. You've probably heard that multiple times. They're like, we saw her on land. Everybody carried around guns back then, okay? Especially when they were thinking that they were going to be in contact with a monster. Like, all men had guns on their hand, but they saw it. So on here it says that they claim to have seen the beast on land crossing the shore road. And several British newspapers sent reporters to Scotland, including the Daily Mail, which hired a big game hunter, Marmaduke Wetherell, to capture that beast. Unsuccessful. After a few days searching the loch, Wetherell reported and finding footprints of a large four-legged animal. He said the monster of Loch Ness is not a legend, but a fact based on these paw prints, or these footprints.
Do you have pictures?
There's no pictures.
Okay, yeah. Mr.
But he's like a world-renowned, he's world-renowned hunter, like...
Pics or it didn't happen? Listen, okay, wait, when did that happen? Like, what, did it have a year on
This is all in the year of 1933 when it just started blowing up. Yes, the road was built.
Do you know that there are actual cameras then? They're not good cameras, but, like, you can take a picture.
Yes. Yep. And this is, okay, so, like, a little bit later, the next year, 1934, we get the famous Loch Ness photo, the black and white photo with the neck out of the water.
I need to immediately see this.
It's the photo that immediately comes up when you search Loch Ness monster. It showed that's what caused a lot of people to really think that this was some sort of aquatic dinosaur, like one of the last dinosaurs to ever exist type ordeal. It's a grainy black and white photo. The neck is sticking straight up out of the water. It is looking to the side in all her graceful beauty.
Why does it look like it's so tiny? I thought it was supposed to be huge.
No, that's the thing. They think it's one of the I'll show you a picture of the aquatic animal they think that it compares to, but it's pretty much like a brachiosaurus with fins, with massive fins. So long, slender neck.
But it looks tiny in the picture.
I know, and it's just because they were far away. They were on the lay-by. They set up chairs.
We were so far away, we couldn't even
and like the technology. Oh, I forgot. They apparently brought plaster with the other guy, the hunter. They did plaster casts of the footprints, and it's in the British Natural History Museum. So they reported that the tracks were that of a hippopotamus.
Okay.
So
wait, are there hippopotamus there?
No, they think they did it on purpose. They just like grabbed like a creature and like, yeah. The hunter probably had some hippopotamus feet, like just chilling. Just chilling in his back seat. But anyways, so the photograph showed like a dinosaur-like creature with a long neck emerging out of the murky waters, leading people to speculate that Nessie was a solitary survivor of the long extinct plesiosaur. Plesiosaur.
Okay. So does it have fins or does it have feet? We need to pick a story here.
Everybody thinks it has fins.
Okay,
everybody thinks it has
random ass feet. What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy, he was just like, I got it. I got the tracks, and they were so fake.
Wouldn't it be like a seal looking thing, or like a little
with a long neck?
Fins?
Yeah, everybody says it's like a seal, especially because of the way that it swims. Apparently, everybody documents that this creature swims in a serpentine fashion. Which means like it's like a reptile. Most reptiles, when they are swimming in water, yes, like a very long, slow serpentine, not like a fish. They go serpentine, but it's just very, very, very quick. Like 6 miles an hour roughly. Just slow, big serpentine lines, kind of like an alligator. Just
let's think about this.
Yeah.
This thing allegedly has fins.
Yes.
But it uses its neck to swim? That makes no sense.
Girl, who you telling, okay? Everybody has their own story of what little Nessie looks like and swims and acts and behaves. She's either a death-defying, like, freak of nature creature that's going to eat anything that comes on the loch, or it's a playful little dinosaur who likes to just flip around like a little whale, you know?
What if it's just like a seal that is extremely defective?
I mean, it very much could be. It could be a very large seal, but they think that it's a dinosaur that was frozen during the last ice age and then thawed, because Scotland is, it's very up high, so I mean that's kind of fair if you want to get technical with it. But they think it was frozen and that it thawed and came back to life, and there's oh my gosh, my stomach just growled so hard. Chill out. Chill.
I couldn't.
Are you
gonna
do it again? Okay. But they believed it just to be like a cold-blooded animal that was just frozen, brought back to life, and decided just to live its life. But 1500 years that this thing has survived. I mean, unless you see two giant serpentine animals, there's no way that this thing has been alive for 15,000 years. So that was like a little bit of history, because there is just way too much to try to go through about what this creature is or looks like.
Okay. But hear me out again.
What
if time moves differently in Dragonland?
Fair. It could be like Neverland.
Yeah. And like it's just not aging because it keeps going back to Dragonland.
Or the Loch Ness monster is the next Avatar.
Oh my god. I'm down with
I'm hilarious. I'm just kidding.
Oh okay, about that, you are hilarious.
Well, I just wanted to give like very little bit backstory on this animal, how long it's gone, what people think it looks like, how big it is compared to the amount of water that it lives in. There's just a lot wrapped around this mythical creature, okay? But the most recent, not the most recent, but it's the most recent caught on film creature, like a sighting of this creature, was in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is recorded footage, not photographs or anything. Recorded footage, okay? And this guy's name, okay, just bear with me. He's British, and his name is Gordon Holmes.
Gordon Holmes.
Conspiracy theory, relative of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh my God, you're so right. No, I bet it's like not even like a smart person, and it's like the nephew of Sherlock Holmes, and then like he's actually really dumb.
I think
He saw
this
stick
guy
in the lake and was like, "Oh my God."
Oh my God. But I did watch this footage. I did hear his story firsthand. Okay. This man remembers everything from that day to a T.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
To a T. Yes.
Nope.
I had to because I'm going to go through all
He's a
the
liar.
details that he told us. Okay. The viewers. What he told us what happened.
Listen. It is a proven fact that liars give way more detail than people who tell the truth.
Yes.
Like, think about, like, 911 calls of people who have nothing to do with the crime that they're calling about.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh my God, please come, help me. But then, like, someone who did commit the crime, which has happened before, they're going to be like, oh my God, he was wearing this. And then, like, also, like, it was really weird his shoe was untied. And, like, oh my God.
Right. Just, like, absurd
eyes were
details that you
green.
don't need to know. His
Right.
eyes were green. He was trying to
I was
hit
really
me.
scared for him. I was really scared for him because his shoes were untied. I thought he was going to fall.
And then he fell and then smashed his own head. And then he was
I think
just
there's blood on the
there.
concrete.
And then he's dead.
He bled on my favorite flowers. Like,
oh, man. Okay, so are you ready to get into this sighting story? And then I'll conclude my my fun.
I already don't believe him.
This is not, you guys can go nuts in the comments on how factually incorrect I am. There's just too much. But this is just for fun. We're just having fun talking about this creature that I found interesting. Everything I found was factual in the sense of what people believed, even though I'm not giving the full detail. So disclaimer. But this guy, let's get into Mr. Gordon Holmes, okay?
Please do.
It was his fourth visit to the loch.
Ugh.
The day was May 26th, 2007 at 9:50 a.m. exactly. He was doing hydroponic research on the loch. Which is true. He has the equipment, which, if you don't know what that is, it measures, like, sounds, essentially. Okay? Because people are trying to find, this animal, find noises, evidence, all this kind of stuff, right? So this guy was already very obsessed with the Loch Ness Monster. Okay? Obsessive personality. Sounds like Sherlock Holmes to me, okay? But that evening, he decided to go to the lay-by and sit in his car, which had a great view of the whole loch, roughly around like 70 feet above the loch. So you could see a lot of the loch, okay?
Yeah, I'm sure he measured that.
He definitely did. He was very adamant on seeing the creature. He admitted that he was adamant on seeing the creature. So who knows how long he spent at each visit he did to the loch, okay? Like, literally days. He said that he sat and watched for a few hours, just sitting there. There's no playing games on your phones. There's barely, like, there's CDs, but old cars, like,
Ain't no way he didn't take a nap.
Exactly.
Wait, it's 2007. He might have had Snake on his phone.
I mean, he could have had Snake on his phone. Yeah, true. But he had his gear. He had his camcorder. Okay, ready to go just in case.
What if the snake on his phone is the Loch Ness Monster?
Apparently, it can flip flop everywhere through time and everything. Since
It's
this
really
thing doesn't
weird. It's
die.
actually two-dimensional. I don't know how that happened. And it was just eating all the things that was in its way. It was really weird. And then it kept getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Like, this shit's crazy, okay? But he said he watched for a few hours, and suddenly he saw something.
Oh my God.
He saw it swimming toward him.
What did he see?
He saw bubbles popping on the surface. And everything. Bubbles just pop, 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 pop. He grabbed his camcorder immediately and ran out of his car and slammed his door. And then, he remembers hearing that he's not supposed to slam doors or else he'll scare away the creature.
Oh my God.
And he slammed the door.
Oh shit.
He was like, I'm going to lose this opportunity.
Oh my God.
And then he looked up and all of a sudden it was gone. He was like, damn, I lost
blew
my
it, Gordon.
opportunity. But I'm just going to start recording anyways. And then off to his right, he sees this creature off in the distance, just swimming in a serpentine line very slowly. Again, roughly 6 miles per hour, according to other scientists who hella dove into that video trying to figure out what this creature is, okay?
Where's this video? I need to immediately see this video.
You can find it on YouTube.
need
He
it
started
right now.
recording. There's actually a History Channel, like 45-minute documentary on the story, and his story is like the first one, I believe. I think he partners with them because he has this video footage of it. But he started recording. He zoomed in. He said, in detail, I remember being told that if I ever want to record this creature, I have to zoom in and out and in and out because that will show that it's true and show the scale of the pictures. Showing it's true as in it's not photoshopped. So he's zooming in and out and to show the scale of this creature.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said he spent a whopping 2.5 minutes of pure quality time with this magnificent creature. It was the most amazing sight that he's ever seen. It was only recorded as a big mass close to the surface, never broke the water, and it was going against the waves in a serpentine line, like an alligator, if you want to think of like how to compare that visual. Scientists think that according to the video, it was roughly 15 feet long. And now he spends his entire life trying to get footage again. So he spends every moment that he can at this loch.
That sounds
using hydroponics
like
and recording devices. Yes.
Like, if it's this important to you, start a GoFundMe, buy equipment to search that lake up and down.
I mean, maybe that's why he partnered with History Channel, because they dove in. They had equipment galore trying to find this creature.
I just can't.
They think they found sounds of this creature, this magnificent creature.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, but they haven't seen it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't
It's because
that
it's in Dragonland, so.
It's chilling right now. It has to make sure it doesn't die too quick, you know?
Yeah.
It saw one wrinkle. It saw one gray hair.
Yeah, freaked out. One grayscale. Oof.
One grayscale, and I'm just like, oof, I gotta go back. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's my mythical creature. You guys can rip me apart in the comments if you want on being lack of facts, which is okay. But this was very fun, and I very much enjoyed it. I got to read a lot. I can't remember most of it because I have dyslexia and ADHD, but it was very fun. You'll just have to believe me. And feel free to dive into it if you'd like. We're back.
Okay.
For you, that was 2 seconds. But for us, that was like 30 whole minutes.
Mm-hmm. A whole lunch break and everything.
And everything. We ate together. We did some chatting, you know, the fun stuff.
Okay. So, let's talk about this.
What is this?
Okay. I'm going to need you to close your eyes and imagine for me. And anybody at home, if you want to close your eyes and imagine too, go ahead. Unless you're driving, don't close your eyes if you're driving. Please. I beg you, do not close your eyes if you're driving. Everybody else, close your eyes. Play along. Okay. Now, imagine an ocean. And in that ocean, imagine a whale. Right? Do you see the whale? I'm assuming you see the whale.
I see a whale. You don't specify the whale,
sorry.
so I'm thinking of a sperm
No,
whale.
it's a blue whale.
A blue
Imagine
whale,
a
okay.
blue whale. Ginormous, right? The biggest whale that I believe is in the ocean, unless there's some other whale that I don't know about. Now imagine the mouth is even wider than normal. Okay? Now put that on pause real quick. Now, imagine that you're standing in a valley in between two mountains. And you're looking around and oh my God, it's so beautiful, right? Oh my God, looking at all the trees. And is that a bear over there? That's cool. Don't mess with that bear. And then you look up and you see at the tippity top of the tallest mountain that you're beside, a whale staring down at you.
Wait. What?
Just wait. Okay, and there's a whale staring down at you with this giant mouth. And the tail...
This is such a
Listen, and the tail is not a normal tail. On the end of the tail, there are these two talons or grip hooks that are clinging onto the mountain. And there's so much drool coming out of this whale's mouth that it's just almost a river of sludge going down the mountain directly underneath. And as you're like, how did that whale get there? And you look around to see if anybody that you're with sees this whale. And you look back up, and all of a sudden, as fast as it possibly can, faster than any human, faster than any whale, it is coming straight down with its mouth wide open. You jump out of the way just in time, and then the whale gobbles up everybody that you are with. And then,
oh my God.
as this whale gobbled up everybody, you noticed that what was making it go so fast was its drool that was like this greasy, sludgy grossness. It is going so incredibly fast that it catapults itself up to the other mountain on the other side. Welcome to the Slide Rock Bolter.
The Slide Rock Bolter? What is that?
It is a whale with two talons that lives in the Colorado mountains.
Colorado? So not even near water?
No, not near water that I know of.
So not near any water, but just chilling in the mountains. So it's an air-breathing, well, all whales are air-breathing, but on land, its skin won't shrivel up from the sun.
I guess not.
Doesn't need to eat krill.
It eats people
whale.
and other animals. Let's talk about the origin of the Slide Rock Bolter. It started in the 1800s by lumberjacks. That is very important information. They claim to have seen it, and they're like, oh my God, this crazy whale thing came down from the mountain. Crazy. So it's part of American folklore, specifically in like the Rocky Mountains, specifically in Colorado mountains. And the last known place was Enrico, Colorado. Let's talk about the alleged end of the slide rock bolter. So there was a forest ranger, and he was like, this bolter is a menace to society. It is eating all of our tourists. It's just, we're not having a good time with this bolter around.
It's eating the tourists.
Yes.
So there's like documentation of tourists going missing, and the cause of death or the cause of missing is this bolter.
It's people are seeing this bolter eat, like gobble up tourists, specifically tourists.
But they don't, document them as missing.
No, because they saw them eat.
Saw this
be eaten. Yeah.
Yeah, because they saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this forest ranger is like, oh my god, I can't, like, how are we supposed to do anything around here when we look up and see this damn whale that's staring down at us, and it's so fast that we can't even, like, get past this whale? Like, what do we do? So he comes up with a plan. He's like, okay, I got this dummy. It looks like a human. I'm going to fill this dummy with powder and fulminate, which is a highly explosive silver salt, of fulminic acid, which I've never heard of, but apparently it's extremely explosive, like real explosive. And he put this dummy in the most conspicuous place possible, so this whale would see it and notice it. And if you're wondering, as we all should be, what was this dummy wearing? I'll tell you. He was wearing plaid Norfolk jacket, knee breeches, and holding a guidebook to Colorado. So he dressed this dummy up as a tourist.
Made sure that the whale recognized him as a tourist, because that's the tastiest treat,
So, in Rico, Colorado, there is this mountain called Lizard Head, and that's where this was happening. So they knew this whale was this bolter was up between, or on Lizard Head, and was aimed towards another mountain that I forgot its name. And they're like, okay, we're going to put this here, and then this bolter is going to see it and come sliding on down and eat it. Allegedly, when the bolter came down and ate this dummy tourist, it was such a humongous explosion that not only did it kill the bolter, but it also tore down half of Rico, Colorado's buildings, which were never rebuilt. Now, I've done a lot of research because I'm like, I need to see with my own eyes what this looks like. Like, I need to see Rico, Colorado post bolter explosion.
Do you know what year it exploded? How recent was this?
I believe it said 19 something. So
that's crazy.
I think it was before cameras were popular. But I believe it said something about 19 something. But regardless, this was, it flattened most of the buildings in Rico, Colorado, but the bolter was finally gone. Tourists were there to they could finally peacefully visit Colorado, and they were safe at last. Thank goodness for this forest ranger. Now, I want to talk about my theories.
Okay.
So, my theories. Theory 1 is not specifically my theory, but it is a theory of the public. They believe that the lumberjacks that started this rumor about the slide rock bolter made it up specifically to scare tourists away from visiting, because they didn't want them bothering them while they worked. So that is public opinion. However, here's mine. This is what I think happened. I think
I think I'm on the same page.
Maybe. I think. So let's think about mountains, right? And let's think about avalanches and how rocks just fall. And it happens so fast that you're like, oh my God, that person was just crushed by a bunch of boulders. I think that it was avalanches that were killing tourists because tourists were where they weren't supposed to be and they were messing with things they weren't supposed to mess with, so it caused avalanches. And I think that to rationalize the frequency of the avalanches, they wanted a common enemy to like blame for the and this is just my theory. I do not know if this is true. This is my theory. I think they wanted something or someone to blame for all of the avalanches and all the deaths that were happening, because I'm sure it wasn't just tourists. I'm sure like other people got caught in the crossfire, you know? Because avalanches are dangerous and avalanches are like crazy deadly if you're underneath one. Even if it's like a snow avalanche, like that could kill you. So I think people just wanted people wanted something to blame, so they created this creature in their head and they're like, that's the only explanation, because they couldn't rationalize that it was just a freak accident.
I think it's a serial killer.
A serial killer mass killing tourists?
Yes.
Okay, explain.
I believe that there was a man who loved to kill people, and he could just go crazy in the woods because they could just blame it on this mythical creature.
Fair enough.
Because if this thing is a whale and they have no documentation, okay, and then somebody was able to zoom in and take a picture of Nessie in 1934, you know, like, it's just like, bruh, if you were about to die, at least snap a picture of that guy, you know?
Well, listen, so it ate literally everything in its path, but also this was before cameras, because it started in the 1800s, like, and I couldn't get a definite date on when this forest ranger killed or allegedly killed this monster. Also, I sent you a picture of
Fair.
what it looks like.
Okay, so for people, the context, okay, imagine
A whale. It's a whale. That's exactly what I described.
well, it's a whale, but the face looks like a frog.
Mm.
So it has a frog face with piranha teeth, like just very sharp, very close together teeth. And it looks like he has 2 blowholes instead of 1, and no flippers. So it literally, the only thing that it has to launch itself and climb around are these massive hooks that clamp onto the peak of a mountain.
I sent you another picture.
Or into the ground.
But like, okay.
This guy loved mudslides.
No, he was a mudslide.
He loved mudslides. He was a mudslide. That's so funny.
Yeah. So that is the terrifying.
The slide rock bolter.
But yeah, so that is that. However, I accidentally went down a rabbit hole, and I did a second one.
Ooh, my favorite.
I wasn't planning on doing a second one. It just happened, and I need you to understand.
That's
I
fair.
need you to understand that this one
literally
was so fascinating to me, and it doesn't even like have barely any information at all. I'm just going to describe to you what it looks like, what it does, and why it does what it does. Okay.
Yeah.
So, close your eyes again. Again, anybody at home that's not driving, I cannot stress that enough. Do not drive and close your eyes.
Do not close your eyes and handle hot objects, i.e. cooking, ironing, or prepping food. So do not do this while you have a sharp object in your hand or crafting.
Listen, you're smart. I know you're smart. If you're listening to us, you're a smart person. You know when you're safe and when you're not. So, if you are safe, close your eyes. um, Karina, you being one of them, you can close your eyes.
I'm safe.
Nice. Okay, imagine a cat. Okay? It's a cat, normal cat, minding its business. Oh, but wait. Its back is flat. And the skin is stretched so tightly, it has the feel of a drum. Like, that's how tight its back is stretched. Okay? Now imagine this cat with a flat back that is kind of like a drum, has two tails that like swing around, and on the end is like a mallet for a drum. And imagine that this cat thing is like hitting its back with these two tails, and it's making a drum sound. Okay? What do you think this would be called? Oh, also it has duck feet.
The hash slinging slasher.
No. No, okay. It's called the duck-footed dum-dum.
Duck-footed dum-dum.
Mm-hmm.
This is an actual mythical creature.
Yes, and it's like, it's not like dum-dum with like a B. It's dum-dum like the lollipop, the whatever you call it.
So D-U-M.
Yeah. So duck-footed dum-dum. And it is said that it hits its back like lightning. That was in quotation marks, like lightning. So it's like boom, 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 right? And then it lives close to shores of like lakes and rivers and oceans, and it hits its back specifically to call fish. It's said that fish do not know when mating season is. And only when they hear this, and it's a North American, so like this was invented in North America. I do not know when. It did not have any other information other than it's North America and it's near lakes and ponds. So it beats on its back, does the little drum noise. The fish hear it and they're like, oh, it's time to go lay eggs. So they swim up to the shore and they lay their eggs and they go off, right? And then the duck-footed dum-dum watches over the eggs until they hatch. And that is the duck-footed dum-dum.
Well, at least it doesn't beat and like bash in people's skulls.
Honestly.
You know, on its flat back. It's just like, lay down. Here. Accept your fate.
Right. I feel like this was like a little wholesome one. I figured like
that was a cute one.
Since I like specifically did something horrifying, I thought, let me end it with something a little wholesome. Since I did find this and I was like, what the hell is this? I've never heard of it. And
I bet it was so ugly though.
I'll send you a picture. And this is like the only picture of it. And I am going to post some of these pictures, if not all of these pictures, on our Instagram, As Told by ADHD. You could find us
Deal. There. As Told by ADHD. D.
Okay.
Bro, that thing is ugly as heck.
Listen,
Just be looking like somebody auntie.
It is cuter than the whale, if I'm being honest.
It is cuter than the whale. It is.
I would much rather come across that than the bolter, if I'm being honest.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Those were little quick ones, but like, honestly, worth
It's fun
it.
though.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was cute.
So how I ended up finding out about the bolter is, I had this coworker. He ended up changing companies, but I had this coworker, and we would like share fun facts every week with each other. And when we would share fun facts, this was one of the fun facts that he brought to me, and he was like, here is this fun fact about this whale creature that lives in mountains. And I'm like, excuse me, whale creatures that live in mountains? And that was like 2 years ago when he told me about it, and I was like, this is insane. I still haven't visited it. I live fairly close to where this allegedly happened, but I haven't visited it. I should, though.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But yeah, that is the stories of...
Those are the stories for today.
Right.
We are done. We are gonna go play.
Oh my god. I love it. When's your single coming out?
Never.
Oh. Fine. Whatever.
Strictly singing with my best friend only or alone. Ooh.
That's our like go-to.
Well, that was fun. I know, right? Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, and listen, I'm sure we'll have this posted somewhere where you can put comments and stuff. If you have any questions and you want to know more, you can either comment on our Instagram, or if we have it on YouTube, by the time that you hear this, you can go on the YouTube and put your questions and maybe we'll answer some.
Go on the YouTube and roast our knowledge.
Yeah, just actually hate on us. That's what I want. I want you to be so
Purely
mean
hate?
to me. Please.
So mean. Tell us how wrong we are, please.
I'm very much into that. Just because so mean.
We know how wrong we are, and we know how much fact we probably left out, but we just love it when you grill us on how wrong we actually are.
Exactly. And see,
so please do and have fun.
Exactly. Oh my god, yeah.
Make a friend.
Yeah, make a friend in hating us. I love that for you. But yeah, so ask questions. Also, like, if you want to have like little conversations with people who are also in the comment section, and you're like, hey, what do you think about the bolter or the duck-footed dum-dum or Loch Ness monster? Go ahead. Like, I would love to see people make friends out of this. Just hate us.
Super fun. Just hate us. Just hate us. Please hate us.
And the funny part is, as an Aries, I don't care what anybody says about me.
And as a recovering people-pleasing Aquarius, she's a little bit stronger and more independent. So we brushed that shit off. You hear
Hell
me?
yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful week. Do something nice for yourself.
Yes. Do something nice.
And we will see you guys next week.
Yes. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.